Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. Mailbag video coming up today. First though, we've been trying to get to 20,000 subs for weeks now. We're less than 150 subscribers away. So if you're new, you want the latest Eagles news and rumors, including all the stuff happening around training camp and mailbag videos, go down below and subscribe because again, we're like less than 150 of you guys subscribing away. Let's jump into your guys' mailbag questions here on a weekend edition of our mailbag videos. Plenty of really good questions today as the Eagles, I'm filming this right now, are out there practicing yet again as we work through the first week of training camp, and from what I'm hearing, looking pretty good. Cameron Johnston says, I think Zech McPherson could actually start at the nickel by the end of the year. I still feel like this guy is one day guy going to be a big name cornerback, #Eagles. Well, I hope you're right. So here's the deal. I don't think he's going to start at the nickel. At least he hasn't been so far in training camp. So the current depth chart that you see right now is what they've been running, essentially, for the first couple of days of training camp from a defensive side of the football. They've had Avonte Maddox in the slot. They have, of course, Darius Slay on one side, and then Steven Nelson on the other. McPherson is getting reps on the outside right now in a backup standpoint. He's running with the twos. He's not gotten any work in the nickel slot, according to everything I have seen and read so far. Doesn't mean they won't mix him in there, but I think the goal is to have Avonte Maddox being the number 3 cornerback, a.k.a. the nickel cornerback on the roster, because he has a lot more, I think, nickel experience than McPherson and really any other player currently on the Eagles cornerback depth chart. I do think McPherson can be good. I think that his problem is he comes from Texas Tech. He didn't have a lot of success in terms of consistency. He had some nice interceptions, but Tech, is known for having a pretty porous defensive secondary. They give a lot of points and a lot of yards to opposing quarterbacks in the Big 12, and he's not a high-round draft pick either. He's, a 4th-round draft pick for Philadelphia? And so I think that the best thing that happened to Zech McPherson really was the Eagles adding Steven Nelson and not giving pressure to McPherson for having to, immediately starting week 1. Like, he can go ahead and learn this offseason, be a role player, be a backup guy throughout the year, and then hopefully in the future he eventually goes ahead and becomes a starter. Christopher Roundtree says, who can be a surprising cut this year at the end of preseason? Okay, first off, it's a little early, right? I'm trying to, get this list compiled, and I'm thinking about guys who have struggled in training camp, but it's too early based on everything I've been watching and reading and, hearing in terms of how the guys have been playing. I will say this, multiple wide receivers might get cut. I think the biggest, boldest prediction I could give you right now, 3 days into training camp, is that multiple wide receivers are probably going to go ahead and be let go. I think it'll be Whiteside, and then a combination of either Hightower or Watkins. And Watkins is sitting out right now due to an injury. I think Hightower's been up and down over the first couple of days. One thing that's good to know is that Jalen Reagor is back in terms of being healthy. There was some issues in day 1 of training camp. He wasn't out there, some lower body tightness or whatever. Devontae Smith does look great. That's good news. But I do think that there could be a scenario where multiple, of the, not big name guys, but if Hightower were to get cut, that'd be a surprise because he's a draft pick last year, but I don't think it would shock a lot of people internally because Watkins and Hightower and Whiteside have all struggled at times during training camp. So, as far as other players, are they going to keep all their running backs? I want to keep Boston Scott. Are they going to keep Boston Scott? I don't think Jordan Howard's going to go and make the roster, but they're using him a lot, at least in today's practice. So, I think it's a little early right now to go and give you exact names on who could possibly be cut, but I would expect the wide receiver group to be whittled down, and that would include some surprising cuts towards the latter part of the 53-man wind down. Okay. We're going to keep going. Give me a name that you think could be cut. Is there any specific Eagle that you are thinking about right now who could be cut as we get closer to that 53-man cut down at the end of August? Give me that name down below right now in the comments section. Also, you've been seeing all the coverage from camp, I'm sure on Twitter, all the reporters who are there with their cameras and filming and pictures. Well, these are the camp hats that you're seeing them wear right now, and the ones that you're seeing the coaches wear and the players wear when they're not wearing helmets. These are the official hats you can pick up at chatsports.com/Eagles camp. That link is down below me and also in the description box. Whether you just want to, rep the Eagles and just get a brand new Eagles hat because yours is, a little bit outdated, or you want something fresh to rock on the golf course with the boys, go ahead and pick up your official Eagles training camp hat at chatsports.com/Eagles camp. All different sizes are obviously there, depending on what size your head is. It doesn't really matter. Probably an average size head. But whatever size head you have, we got sizes for you guys. Again, link down below in the description box. All right, we'll go and jump into Ron Powell, who says, I know at this point it's only day 2 of training camp, but all I'm hearing is Hurts is having a rough time in passing. Is that something you're concerned about? So here's the deal. This is a good example of, reading into things too much. We'll talk about that in a second. But Jalen Hurts is having a really good training camp so far. He was average on day 1. He was a lot better in day 2, and what I'm hearing from day 3 and day 4 is he's continued to trend upward, which is good news for the Eagles. I have his stats from his first 2 practices. I mean, there are people there recording every single throw. This is what he did. I mean, 20 of 31, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception on 48 snaps. I mean, that's pretty darn good overall. Remember, some of those are going to be runs too, right? 48 snaps, reps, whatever you want to call it. He's been very accurate, which is a big improvement over the past couple of days, and really an improvement of last season. And the connection between him and Devontae Smith is already looking pretty darn good. So it's important just to note, you can't listen to everything. Like, don't listen to the rumors. There are going to be a lot of people out there who say, ooh, Hurts missed a pass here. Ooh, Hurts made a pass there. Ooh, Hurts with a bad drop. Hurts got sacked. Like, you can't buy into everything that you read in terms of training camp. Now, the reps thing is what it is. 20 of 31, 3 touchdowns and a pick. I like that. That sounds good to me. But what we're hearing is that he's taking command of the offense. The accuracy is a lot better. And the connection between him and these young receivers is really starting to grow. And also, which I really like, is after practice, he meets with all the wide receivers on the field, and they go over stuff that they didn't like during practice, and they work on things. I think Hurts is really grabbing the starting job by the reins, and Howie Roseman talked about in his press conference a couple of days ago. So I'm hearing that he's looking great. I'm seeing that he's looking great. I would not worry about what you guys are hearing in terms of if he's struggling, because everything that I've been looking at is that he's looking pretty darn good, which is very, very exciting. All right, before we go and keep going here, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Again, we mentioned less than 150 you away from getting to 20,000 subs here on the channel, which is crazy. We started at nothing, and now we're all the way up to 20,000 subs. So help us out, go down below and hit that red subscribe button. That way you can get a part of next week's mailbag video, because all of these are coming from our subscribers in terms of our mailbag questions. Still Goat Gaming says, with the addition of Eric Wilson, Steven Nelson, and Anthony Harris, how many interceptions do you think we will have this season? I think we'll have at least 9. Hashtag fly Eagles fly. Hashtag Jalen Hurts QB1. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I thought, okay, Howie Roseman gets a lot of hate in Philadelphia, and rightfully so. I mean, he whiffs on draft picks. The whole Carson Wentz debacle the past couple seasons. One thing we have to admit, though, is Howie Roseman had a great offseason. And you know what had an even better offseason? The secondary. Because the secondary went from being probably the biggest weakness on the defense, I think the linebackers picked things up last year because they were the big weakness, to the secondary looks really good. I mean, you get Steven Nelson. Anthony Harris, I'm told, is looking absolutely phenomenal out there right now. I mean, they are loving what they're seeing from Anthony Harris. And you had the addition of a linebacker in Eric Wilson. I think this team is going to be a lot better defensively than people realize. The scheme that Gannon is bringing in right now, to me, looks pretty darn good. It's a matter of, can they get stops versus interceptions? Because turnovers are important, but stops are really what you're there for. I think they'll have more interceptions than they had last year. I think they had 7 last year, so 9 is a good threshold. But I think overall, this secondary is looking a lot better than people realized, and it will be a lot better than expected. And Howie Roseman gets credit for filling holes with one-year deals and really good players overall. Over under 7 interceptions for the Eagles in 2021. I think you got to go over on this, right? I'm going to go over on the 7 interceptions. Give me your thoughts, though, down below in the comments section. If they have less than 7, I mean, then it's disastrous, I think, defensively. Less than 7 would be a big shock. They have not been good picking the ball off the past couple of years. This year might be different. Wouldn't it be nice, though, too, to get a bunch of turnovers on defense? That would be fun. Nicholas says, if Zach Ertz stays, who do you think should be the number 1 tight end? And what do you expect, and who do you expect to have a better season from? So right now, everything that we've seen from camp is that Ertz is not getting the starter reps. Like, they're giving it more to Dallas Goedert. Now they mix him in, right? It's not that big of a deal. But Ertz has been number 2 in terms of rep-wise to Dallas Goedert. So I would assume that that's kind of their thought process here. Is they're not for sure that Zach Ertz is going to be there week 1. We expect him to. We want him to. At least I do. But they want Dallas Goedert to be the future tight end in this offense. Now, if both are on the roster, I think they both can have really good years. Ertz is a better tight end. He always has been. I think he always will be, because he's top 3 tight end, in my opinion, in the National Football League. But I wouldn't worry about whether Ertz gets more reps, Goddard gets more reps. I think you just want both of them to be there, because Philadelphia is better if both are on the football field or both are on the roster versus one or the other. Goddard, though, has had a pretty good training camp so far, though, although it is very early. Quickly, Tyree Jackson, the ex-quarterback turned tight end, he looks really good. He's also like 6'7". Keep an eye on Jackson to go ahead and make this roster. All right, final one here. Mr. Scorpio Johnson said, we had major signings in our past at the cornerback position. For example, Nnamdi Asomugha and Byron Maxwell, who turned out to be system players, not so good for us. Do you think Steven Nelson is a product of the Steelers system, or is he just good like a Jalen Ramsey? He's not Jalen Ramsey, and I think that's what we need to emphasize here about Steven Nelson. He's not going to be a bust like Nnamdi Asomugha or Byron Maxwell, and you're right. Those were 2 big swings and misses in free agency. Both of those, I was like really pumped, and then swing and a miss. They weren't that good. Okay, I'm not worried about Nelson, but I also have realistic expectations about Steven Nelson. He's not going to come in here and be the number 1 cornerback or be, this shutdown guy that never gets picked on or never gives up touchdowns. Like, he had a decent year last year, but it wasn't like top 5 in the league at cornerback. His job isn't to be a top 5 cornerback in this league. It's to be a top 20, right? Top 15 cornerback. Be better than what Avonte Maddox would have done. Be better than what Zech McPherson would have done. I think he can absolutely do that, but he's not Jalen Ramsey. I mean, Darius Slay isn't Jalen Ramsey. Slay showed that last year, and so I think they upgraded big time at the cornerback spot by bringing in Steven Nelson, but they're not going to go out there and be the number one secondary in the NFL, even though I praised them earlier. I think they're going to be really good, but this isn't, the best cornerback tandem in the National Football League. I think it's a good tandem, and I think Nelson's going to play a lot better than what it would have been, but there's no guarantee that he's the next, Jalen Ramsey, for instance, because Ramsey's in a whole different league. All right, there you go. There is all the time we have for in our mailbag video. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed and use the hashtag Eagles in the comment section to get your question polled for next week's mailbag video, because I pull a lot of the questions from this mailbag video for next week's mailbag video. So go down below and hit that subscribe button to help us grow the channel. And of course, may you use the hashtag Eagles as well to get your question in on the show. Ultimate for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Have a great weekend. We'll keep watching training camp. It's been a lot of fun. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off the rest of your day.